In a world that rushes, hurries, and worries, the voice of Jesus speaks a different rhythm. He does not shout above the noise, but instead invites us into stillness. He calls not to overwhelm, but to calm. His is not the voice of fear, but of peace, steady, gentle, and faithful. And tonight, or this morning, or wherever this moment finds you, Jesus is speaking, not with condemnation, not with pressure, but with the same words he once offered to a troubled crowd on a hillside. Do not worry. His words are not naive. They are not spoken into a fantasy. They were given in the dust of real life, where people were hungry, tired, and uncertain about tomorrow. And still, he said, do not worry. What kind of voice can say that with authority? Only the voice of one who sees the end from the beginning. Only the voice of one who holds the future and you in his hands. We begin this meditative journey not by pretending everything is perfect. We begin by acknowledging the chaos, the anxiety, and the weight we often carry. And into that honest space, the voice of Jesus speaks. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. His peace is not the absence of hardship. It's the presence of God in the midst of it. It is not a shallow calm, but a deep assurance that we are known, seen, and cared for. Take a breath now, not just to relax, but to remember you are not alone in this world. You are not forgotten. You are not adrift without an anchor. You are held. You are seen. You are loved. Let the noise of fear begin to fade. Let the tide of anxiety pull back. Let the voice of Jesus rise above it all, not as a demand, but as a gift, not as a command to perform, but as a promise to trust. Because before Jesus ever said, "Do not worry," he revealed why. Because your Father in heaven knows. He knows your needs. He knows your fears. He knows your future. And he has not abandoned you to figure it all out alone. The invitation of Jesus is not to ignore life's responsibilities. It is to carry them differently, with trust, with surrender, with the steady confidence that the one who holds tomorrow also walks with you today. So now we listen, not for new strategies or solutions, but for his presence, for his voice, for his peace. And as you move through this journey, as you reflect on each teaching, each story, each promise, may you feel the weight of your burdens slowly lifted, not because you've solved everything, but because you've remembered who holds everything. Jesus is not distant. He is not indifferent. He is the Good Shepherd who leads, protects, and provides. He is the Prince of Peace, not just in name, but in action. He restores the soul. He speaks to the storm. He calms the anxious heart, and he is here now. Let every word you hear in this journey be a reminder that you are safe in him. Let every teaching open your heart a little more to trust. Let every reflection draw you closer to a life free from the stranglehold of worry. Jesus is not promising that trouble will vanish. He is promising that you will never walk through it alone. Come to me, he says, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That rest is more than sleep. It is a soul at peace, a spirit anchored in hope, a heart unafraid of tomorrow. This is the gift he offers. This is the peace he gives. This is the journey we begin, a journey not of escape, but of presence, not of denial, but of deep and lasting peace. So come now, not because everything is solved, but because Jesus is here. He speaks. He comforts, He strengthens, and He invites you gently, patiently, faithfully to let go of tomorrow's weight and walk with Him today. Let His words echo now. Do not worry, not because life is easy, but because He is with you. Not because you have all the answers, but because He is the way. Not because you feel strong, but because His grace is enough. Let us walk with Jesus now. Let us hear His voice, the voice of peace. Let us begin. Do not worry about tomorrow. Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:34. These words of Jesus are not a suggestion. They are a loving command, a gentle redirection, a call to shift our eyes from the uncertain future to the present moment where God already dwells. How many hours have we lost to worrying about what might happen? How much strength have we spent anticipating problems that never came? We live in a world that trains us to fear what is next, to overplan, overthink, and overstress about what lies ahead. But Jesus says something radically different. He tells us that tomorrow is not our burden to carry. He frees us from the illusion that we are in control of what's next. And He invites us to come back to the now, to the sacredness of today. Jesus did not deny that there is trouble. He did not say life would be easy. He said that each day has enough of its own, meaning focus on what is before you now. Handle today's responsibilities with grace and trust God to be in tomorrow before you even arrive there. This verse does not mean we neglect wisdom or preparation. It means we live rooted in faith, not fear. It means we take a deep breath and remember, God is already in tomorrow. We don't have to be to worry about. Tomorrow is to miss the peace that is possible today. It is to carry a weight that was never ours to hold. It is to step out of alignment with God's rhythm, the rhythm of daily grace, daily bread, daily trust, thought. Think of how the Israelites in the desert were fed with manna. Each morning they gathered what they needed for the day. They were instructed not to store it up except before the Sabbath. If they tried to hoard it, it spoiled. God was teaching them a deeper truth, dependence, a daily relationship with His provision. In the same way, Jesus calls us to a faith that is present tense, not just believing God existed in the past or will act in the future, but knowing He is active in this very moment, right here, right now. Look around you. What blessings are already here today? What beauty, what help, what opportunity to love, to serve, to breathe. Sometimes the mind races into tomorrow because we haven't trained it to be at peace in today. That's okay. Jesus is patient with us. He gently leads us back. He reminds us that peace isn't found by solving every unknown. Peace is found by knowing who holds the unknown. Jesus, in Matthew 6, says not to worry about what we will eat or drink or wear. He points to the birds of the air and the flowers of the field, how God takes care of them without anxiety. And then He says, "Are you not much more valuable than they? To God, you are infinitely precious. You are worth far more than the sparrows He feeds, and He does not forget you. He will not abandon you. He's already been to your tomorrow. He sees the road ahead. He knows what you'll face, and He's not asking you to face it alone or to figure it all out tonight. He's asking you to trust one moment at a time, one day at a time. There is grace for today. There is strength for today. There is peace for today. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Close your eyes for a moment, or soften your gaze. Let these words settle in your heart. God is with you. God ahead of you. God is beside you. You do not walk alone. Whatever uncertainty waits in your future, it is not greater than the one who walks with you. Whatever challenge may come, it is not stronger than the grace already assigned to it. You are not meant to carry all of life at once. You are called to walk in step with the shepherd, step by step, day by day, breath by breath. So breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly, and return not to your fears, but to your faith. Jesus stands at the center of today. He welcomes you to live fully here, to work, to love, to trust, to rest, all within today's grace. You are free to let go of the burdens of tomorrow. You are invited to enjoy the gift of now, and in this moment, Jesus is near. He does not ask you to have all the answers. He simply asks you to follow, one step at a time. Do not worry about tomorrow. You are already held by the God of forever. Consider the birds of the air God provides. Matthew 6:26. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Pause for a moment. Let the pace of your mind slow. Gently release the thoughts of everything you must do tomorrow, and simply become aware of this moment. Jesus says, "Look at the birds of the air." It is an invitation, not just to observe creation, but to learn from it. He draws our attention to something so simple, so common, we might overlook it entirely. Birds, they do not labor endlessly. They do not store up grain in barns. They do not live in worry about the seasons to come. They rise each morning, sing their song, and go about gathering the provision that is already there, placed by the hand of the Creator. Jesus points to these small creatures, not to diminish us, but to elevate our faith. If God cares so faithfully for birds, will He not care for you, His beloved child? You are of far greater value. So often we are weighed down by thoughts of lack. Will I have enough? Will the doors open? Will I be safe? Will there be provision next month? Will I be okay? Jesus speaks into those fears with calm clarity. He reminds us that worry will not add a single hour to our lives, but trust, deep, childlike trust, will anchor our hearts in peace. The birds do not stress, and yet they eat. The flowers do not labor, and yet they are clothed in splendor. And you are seen by God. You are not forgotten. His eye is on the sparrow, and His hand is on your life. Let this promise settle deep within your soul. God provides, not always in the ways we expect, not always on our timeline, but always faithfully, always wisely, always in love. When you consider the birds, you're invited to embrace a new way of living, one that moves away from anxiety and toward awareness, one that lets go of control and embraces peace. Birds don't carry yesterday's stress into today. They do not hoard. They do not hustle to secure every outcome. They live in tune with the rhythm of the day. And that is what Jesus invites us, into a rhythm of trust. He is not asking you to be passive. He is not asking you to do nothing. He is asking you to live from faith, to rise and move and act and love and work, all from a place of calm assurance that your life is held by God. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not abandoned to figure it all out on your own. God is near, and He is kind. When your mind starts to race with fears, will I have enough? What if things fall apart? Remember the birds. Let their daily song remind you that God is not distant. He is involved, He is generous, and He knows what you need even before you ask. Can you hear them? The soft rustle in the trees, the quiet chirp in the morning. These gentle creatures are nature's living sermon, proclaiming the truth that you do not need to worry, because God is already working on your behalf. There is freedom in this. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to trust. The world may try to convince you that everything depends on your effort, your strategy, your striving, your control. But Jesus says something better. Your Father feeds them, and that same Father feeds you, provides for you, strengthens you. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. Your security is not based on how much you accumulate. Your future is not in your own hands. It's in His, and His hands are trustworthy. So, take a deep breath. You are seen. You are held. You are cherished. Let go of the fear that you must have it all figured out. Let go of the pressure to be everything to everyone. Let go of the belief that you are on your own. You're not. Jesus wants to walk with you, not just in eternity, but now. Not just in church or in quiet moments, but in every ordinary part of life. And He says, consider the birds. It's not just a poetic metaphor. It is an invitation into a quieter, holier rhythm of life. One where you begin each day in peace, not panic. One where you live open-handed, not clenched in fear. One where you move in trust, knowing your Father sees you and is already preparing what you need. Let the world spin. Let tomorrow unfold as it will. Today, in this moment, be still and know that He is God. The one who watches over the sparrows is watching over you. The one who clothes the lilies in beauty will clothe your life in grace. The one who holds creation together will surely hold you. You are not a forgotten soul in a vast universe. You are a beloved child in the care of your Heavenly Father. He knows, He sees, He provides. So release the tight grip you've kept on your plans. Lay down the weight of your what-ifs and your how-will-Is. Trust is not foolishness. It is wisdom rooted in love. The birds trust, and they are fed. You can trust, and you will be provided for, not only physically, but emotionally, spiritually, relationally. God's provision comes in many forms. A word of encouragement, a moment of clarity, a door opening just when it's needed. Provision is not only about survival. It's about being sustained in peace. It's about the quiet knowing that your needs matter to God. So what is it that you need right now? Name it in your heart. Offer it to Him, and then consider the birds once more and say, if you care for them, Lord, I know you care for me. Because He does. He always has, and He always will. You can walk into this day or lie down into this night with open hands and a trusting heart. He will take care of you. You are worth more than many sparrows. Matthew 10:20-9:31. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Slow your breathing. Bring your attention gently to the present moment. You are not here by accident. You are not forgotten in the crowd of the world. You are deeply known, and you are infinitely loved. Jesus spoke these words, not to kings or religious scholars, but to ordinary people, fishermen, farmers, those who lived close to the land, close to the edge. He pointed again to the sparrows, not for their strength or status, but for their smallness. In the marketplace of ancient times, 2 sparrows could be bought for a single coin. They were common, overlooked, seemingly insignificant, and yet Jesus says not a single one of them falls without the Father's knowledge. Not a wing flutter, not a breath missed, not a single fall goes unseen. And then Jesus turns our eyes inward to ourselves. You are worth more than many sparrows. You, not some future version of you, not the perfect you, not the version of you who has everything figured out, but the you that exists right now, tired or anxious, hopeful or afraid, strong or weary. That you is known, that you is seen, that you is loved. We live in a world that measures worth by achievement, by beauty, status, influence, productivity. But Jesus tells a different story. He declares a deeper truth. Your worth, it is given. God assigned it to you before you were born. You are created in His image. You are designed with intention. You are worth more than many sparrows. And if not one of them falls without God's care, do you really think He is distant from your pain? Do you really think your sleepless nights or quiet tears have gone unnoticed? They haven't, single quotes. He knows your story. He knows the burdens you carry, the ones you can speak, and the ones too heavy to name. He knows the questions you whisper in the dark. He hears the silent prayers, and He responds not with judgment, but with presence, with tenderness, with love. Jesus doesn't simply acknowledge your worth. He proves it. With every step He took toward the cross, He was proclaiming your value. You were worth redeeming. You were worth saving. You were worth dying for. That is not just sentiment, it's truth. You are not invisible to Him. Not a hair from your head falls without His knowledge. This is not a metaphor. It is the heart of the gospel. The infinite God of the universe watches over even the most delicate details of your life. And so, don't be afraid. Let those words echo softly. Don't be afraid. So much of our fear comes from a lie. The lie that we are alone. The lie that we are on our own. That no one sees. That no one understands. But Jesus shatters that illusion with the most beautiful truth. You are known. You are worth more than many sparrows. You may not feel strong. You may not feel holy or spiritual or successful, but your worth is not dependent on your feelings. It's not dependent on your performance. It is sealed by the love of God. Jesus, who was there at the beginning of time, sees you tonight. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are His. Let that wash over you. You are not forgotten. You are not too small for His attention. You matter to the One who holds the stars. And because you matter, you can live without fear. Fear loses its grip when we know we are loved. Worry weakens when we know we are seen. The soul rests not when everything is perfect, but when we know that even in the imperfection, we are cherished by a perfect God. So whatever thoughts are crowding your mind, the what-ifs, the should-haves, the I'm not enoughs, lay them down. God has not asked you to be more impressive. He has asked you to trust Him. He does not love you because of what you do. He loves you because of who He is. and his love is unshakable. You are worth more than many sparrows. Let that truth settle into your bones. Let it be louder than the lies. Let it silence the critic in your head. You are worthy of care. You are worthy of tenderness. You are worthy of peace, not because of your resume, but because of your Redeemer. Not because you are flawless, but because you are his. Even when life feels chaotic, you are not just drifting through randomness. You are under the eye of a Father who counts even the smallest birds. He knows where you are. He knows what you need, and he is with you. Not one sparrow falls outside his care, and you, infinitely more valuable, will not fall outside it either. So, breathe. Release the fear that clings. Let go of the pressure to prove anything. Just rest in the truth that you are seen, known, and loved by the God who made you. He does not forget what he created. He does not abandon what he calls his own. You are worth more than many sparrows. Let that be the anthem of your soul, the lullaby for your spirit. You are not a number in a crowd. You are not a mistake. You are not unnoticed. You are loved by the one who sees every sparrow, and you are safe in his care always. Seek first the kingdom. Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. There is something gentle about Jesus' voice when he says, "Seek first." It is not a command shouted from the heavens. It is an invitation, a whisper in the noise, a light that gently calls you home when your thoughts have wandered far. Seek first the kingdom, not second, not when everything else is settled, not once you've figured out your finances, or your career, or your relationships, or the path ahead. No, first, Jesus knows our hearts. He knows how easily we chase what we think will bring peace, security, success, recognition, control. He knows the pull of worry. He knows the weight of trying to carry the world on your shoulders. And yet, he doesn't shame us for that. Instead, he shows us another way, the way of trust, the way of the kingdom, the way that begins with God, not ends with him. He says, all these things, what you will eat, what you will wear, what you need, will be added, but you must begin with me. He isn't asking you to ignore your needs. He isn't asking you to live irresponsibly. He is asking you to shift your focus from anxiety to alignment. When you seek the kingdom first, something inside your soul comes into order. Priorities realign. Desires are purified. And the peace that Jesus promises begins to grow. Not because circumstances are perfect, but because your gaze is on the one who is. The kingdom is not far away. It is not only in the future. It is within you. It is wherever the rule and reign of Jesus are welcomed. It is wherever hearts bow to his authority, not out of fear, but out of love. So what does it mean to seek the kingdom? It means to ask, moment by moment, what would Jesus want here? What reflects his heart? What honors his ways? It means choosing love when anger is easier. It means offering forgiveness even when it isn't deserved. It means walking humbly, speaking gently, living honestly. It means waking up each day not to chase the approval of the world, but to walk with your King. The kingdom is not always dramatic. Often, it is quiet, like the decision to be kind when no one notices, like the prayer whispered when no one hears, like the surrender of your own plans when his path is better. Seek first the kingdom, not out of pressure, but because that is where life is. Jesus says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So the real question is, what is your treasure? Is it being seen? Is it being successful? Is it being safe? Or is it Him? Is it His righteousness, His way of being, living, loving? When you seek His kingdom first, everything else, everything you truly need, flows from that pursuit. Not instantly, always, in the form you expect, but faithfully, because He is faithful. The same Jesus who told His disciples not to worry. They who had no stable income, no grand plans, no certainty of what would come, is the same Jesus who says to you, I will take care of you, seek me first, and I will not abandon you. There is something freeing in that, isn't there? You do not have to be the source of your own provision. You do not have to be the architect of your own peace. You do not have to carry the pressure of predicting and controlling every outcome. You are invited into a kingdom, and the King, this Jesus, is good. He is not distant. He is not selfish. He does not manipulate or coerce. He gives freely, but He invites you to come to Him first. Seek first the kingdom before the stress, before the scrolling, before the news, before the pressure. Seek first the kingdom and then return to your day, not empty, but filled with truth, filled with peace, filled with the awareness that God is near and you are not alone. Maybe you've spent years seeking everything else first. Maybe you've tried to find joy in the things that glitter but do not last. Jesus understands, and He's not angry. He's waiting, still inviting, still whispering, come back to the first thing. Come back to me. He knows what your heart is really craving. He knows how fragile the other pursuits are. He knows how fleeting the approval of people can be. But the kingdom, it's eternal, unshakable. A treasure that moth and rust cannot destroy. A love that the world cannot steal. A peace that cannot be explained by circumstances. And it is yours, yours to seek, yours to live in, yours to carry with you into your job, your home, your relationships, your struggles. This is not about escaping the world. It's about living in it differently, rooted, grounded, alive in the kingdom of peace, even when the world is restless. So breathe deep again. You are not chasing emptiness. You are seeking something real, something that will last. And Jesus is right here. His kingdom is right here. Seek first and let Him take care of the rest. Let that be your quiet courage in the morning and your calm assurance at night. Let it be the center around which all else revolves. Let it be the compass that keeps your soul steady when life feels uncertain. Seek first the kingdom and everything else. It will be added in time, not because you control it, but because your Father knows what you need, and He delights to give good gifts to His children. So tonight, and tomorrow, and every day after, let this be your posture, not striving, but seeking, not fearing, but following, not grasping, but trusting. The kingdom first, always, and everything else will follow. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:34. Jesus' words here are not abstract. They are real, grounded, honest. He does not deny that life brings difficulty. He does not pretend that tomorrow is without challenges. Instead, He meets us in reality with a gentle invitation to focus on this day, this moment, this breath. Each day has enough trouble of its own. You do not need to borrow tomorrow's burdens, and you were never meant to carry more than this day holds. Yet how often do our minds drift into the future, into the unknown? Worry pulls us forward into problems we haven't even faced yet. It builds stories in our minds, pictures of fear, of what-ifs, of things going wrong. Worry robs the present by dragging our attention into imagined pain that may never come. But Jesus says, let that go. Tomorrow will worry about itself. He's not telling you to be careless. He's not asking you to live without planning or responsibility. He's simply inviting you to stop trying to live multiple days at once. Your soul was made to walk through time one step at a time, not to sprint ahead, not to solve everything before it happens, but to be here fully today. Their single quotes is wisdom in that. Deep wisdom. Worry takes your energy. Peace gives it back. Worry drains you. Trust strengthens you. Jesus knows that living well requires presence, that the kingdom of God is not found in what might be, but in what is, not in tomorrow, but in today. So he points your heart back to this moment, right now, this hour, this breath, because that's where grace lives, not in the fears of what might happen tomorrow, but in the strength he gives you right now. Jesus doesn't say there won't be trouble. He says that trouble is enough for one day. It's enough. Not too much. Not more than you can bear when you walk with him. And even in trouble, he is with you. He reminds you, my grace is sufficient. My power is made perfect in weakness. Worry is the attempt to live in a future without grace. But grace is not stored up for what hasn't happened yet. It's given fresh each day, like manna in the wilderness, like light in the morning. God doesn't give you grace today for a problem that belongs to next week. He gives you grace for now, for what's in front of you, for what's actually happening, not what you're afraid might happen. That's why Jesus draws your attention back from the swirling storms of what if, back from the fears of what may come, back into the solid ground of today. Today. You are here, alive, breathing, today. You are held, seen, known, and the presence of Jesus is enough. He walks with you. He is not in a rush. He does not demand that you have everything figured out. He simply invites you. Follow me today, just today. That is enough. Can you feel the weight lift? Can you sense how much peace there is in letting go of what is not yours yet? You are not responsible for all your tomorrows. You are only called to live today well, to walk humbly, to love gently, to do what is before you, and to trust him with what comes after. This is where strength grows, not in trying to outsmart every future obstacle, but in resting in God's faithfulness today and knowing that the same God who is with you now will be with you tomorrow too. There is a quiet power in living one day at a time. There is freedom in not needing to figure out every detail in advance. There is rest in surrender. Let today be enough. Let the hours unfold without pressure. Let the future stay in God's hands, where it has always belonged. Jesus said, do not worry about tomorrow. It is not a cold command. It is a warm hand on your shoulder, a whisper of love, a voice that says, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know me. That's it. Knowing him is enough for the big questions and the small ones, for the choices ahead and the path behind. He is your shepherd, and a good shepherd does not drive his sheep into the unknown. He leads them one step at a time, step by step, day by day. He prepares what you need when you need it, and He will be with you when tomorrow becomes today. So rest in that. Walk slowly, live fully. Today is not an obstacle to get through. It's a gift, even with its troubles, even with its messiness, even with its unknowns. It's a sacred space where God meets you, where Jesus walks beside you, where love speaks, and where peace is not found in control, but in presence, in the presence of the one who knows your days. He holds your time like a gardener holds seeds, planting, watering, waiting, bringing forth fruit in its season, not faster, not slower, in its season. So be patient with yourself. Be gentle with today. You do not need to rush forward. You only need to stay here, to be faithful to this moment, to offer it to God like a prayer, to walk with Him in what is, not in what might be. And as you do, you'll find the future becoming less heavy. You'll find the anxiety slowly fading, because peace grows when you learn to stay close to Jesus, not in every tomorrow, but in each today. He is here, and that is enough. You are not missing anything by slowing down. You are not falling behind. You are walking with the pace of the kingdom. You are living in rhythm with grace. You are learning what Jesus meant when He said, "Each day has enough trouble of its own." You are learning to let go, to breathe, to live, to trust. And in that trust, strength rises. In that peace, courage forms. In that surrender, you find your footing again. So take one more breath. Feel the calm of knowing you are safe in His hands. You don't have to run into the next hour. You don't have to solve what tomorrow holds. You have enough for today. You are enough for today. And Jesus is with you today, always. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Let tomorrow worry about itself. These words from Jesus invite a profound way of living. It's a letting go, not of responsibility or care, but of anxiety and premature burden. When you think about tomorrow, what do you feel? Worry builds walls in your heart, separating you from peace. It fills your thoughts with shadows before the sun has even set. But Jesus calls you back. He calls you into the present moment with a tender invitation. Let tomorrow worry about itself. It's a message about trust. Trust that God is already there, already holding tomorrow. You do not have to carry the weight of future days. They are not yours to bear now. In this moment, there is enough grace, enough light, enough love. The future is a mystery, but God's presence is a certainty. So what does it mean to let tomorrow worry about itself? It means living without the heavy chains of fear that come from trying to control what cannot be controlled. It means releasing your grip on the illusion that you can solve everything ahead of time. It means stepping into today's journey with faith that God will provide for what lies beyond. This is not passive resignation. It's active surrender. It's choosing to walk by faith, not by sight. When you let tomorrow worry about itself, you free your heart from needless turmoil. You open your hands to receive the peace God offers. Think of the birds in the sky, Jesus said. They do not sow or reap. They do not store away in barns. Yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than birds? This question echoes in your soul, reminding you of your worth, reminding you that the one who cares for the sparrow cares infinitely more for you. The worries about tomorrow then become less urgent. They no longer control your mind or steal your joy. Instead, your heart learns a new rhythm, a rhythm of faith, presence, and trust. Letting tomorrow worry about itself is a daily choice. Every morning brings a fresh invitation to step into God's peace. You might find your thoughts racing toward the future. That's normal. It's the human mind's way. But each time it happens, gently bring yourself back to the breath, back to the present, back to Jesus' words. Feel the tension ease as you release control. This practice of releasing is like a muscle that grows stronger with use. Each time you choose trust over fear, you grow in resilience. You learn that your strength does not come from managing every outcome, but from resting in God's care. God's grace is sufficient. His power is made perfect in weakness. You may not have all the answers. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you know the one who does. You know the one who holds your future and your heart. This truth is a shield against worry. When fear about tomorrow comes knocking, greet it gently but firmly. Say, "Tomorrow belongs to God. I will live today in His peace." Letting tomorrow worry about itself means releasing your anxious thoughts to God like a prayer. It means handing over what you cannot carry. It means trusting that God's plans are good even when you don't understand them. And it means living fully in this moment with gratitude and hope. What would your day look like if you truly embraced this? Imagine moving through your tasks and relationships with calm confidence. Imagine the lightness of spirit when fear no longer drags you down. Imagine the joy of knowing that God is with you in every step. The world may feel uncertain, but your soul can rest in the certainty of God's love. This love is not distant or detached. It is close, near, personal. Jesus said, "Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom." The kingdom is not just a place for the future. It is a present reality, a kingdom of peace, of justice, of joy. You belong to that kingdom, and in that belonging, worry loses its power. Your heart becomes a sanctuary where God's peace reigns. Let tomorrow worry about itself and let today be filled with God's peace. Let your steps be steady. Let your thoughts be gentle. Let your prayers be trust. When you surrender your worries to God, you align yourself with His peace. This peace passes all understanding. It guards your heart and mind. In Christ Jesus, it is the peace that the world cannot give or take away. You can carry it with you into every moment. You can share it with others through your calm presence, and you can live knowing that you are deeply loved. Your life is held in the hands of the one who knows all things. Nothing surprises Him. Nothing escapes His care. Let tomorrow worry about itself, because God already holds tomorrow, because God holds you in every breath, in every heartbeat. You are not alone. You never were. This truth changes everything. This truth frees you to live, to love, to hope, to trust, to be so. Breathe in this freedom. Breathe out your fear. Let today be enough. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Let God's peace be your guide. Let your soul rest in His love. And as you walk this path, remember, you are never walking it alone. Trust in God's daily grace. Grace is a word full of gentle power. It is the unearned kindness and love that God pours into our lives each day. When we talk about trusting in God's daily grace, we open our hearts to a deep and abiding peace. We acknowledge that life is not about our perfect control, but about receiving and living within God's tender care. Each morning brings a fresh outpouring of grace. It is like the soft sunlight that gently warms the earth, the steady rhythm of the tides, or the quiet breath that keeps us alive. God's grace is constant, steady, and unfailing. It is there in the small moments, the smile from a stranger, the unexpected kindness, the beauty of a blooming flower. It is there in the challenges, too, guiding us gently through storms and trials. To trust in this daily grace is to say yes to God's presence in every moment. It is a surrender that does not mean weakness, but strength, a strength that comes from knowing we are held and supported by a love greater than ourselves. You may sometimes feel overwhelmed by life's demands or uncertain about the future. That is natural. Yet God's grace is sufficient for every need. It is enough for today, and it will be enough for tomorrow, and every day after that. Jesus taught us this when he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." These words remind us that even in our weakest moments, God's grace shines brightest. It is in our vulnerability that his strength is revealed. Imagine your life as a journey along a winding path. Sometimes the road is smooth and easy. Other times it is rough and steep. But no matter what the path looks like, God's grace is the steady light that guides you forward. Trusting in God's grace means letting go of the need to have all the answers. It means leaning into the certainty of God's love, even when circumstances feel uncertain or difficult. When you wake each day, invite God's grace to meet you right where you are. Ask for the strength to face what comes, the wisdom to make good choices, and the peace to rest in God's care. Grace is not just a gift for the big moments. It is also the quiet presence in the ordinary hours. It is the breath that steadies you when anxiety threatens to rise. It is the calm in your heart when the world feels chaotic. To live in daily grace is to live in awareness of God's goodness, mercy, and presence. Take a moment now to feel the grace that surrounds you. Picture it as a gentle light, soft and warm, enveloping your whole being. Let it fill every part of you with peace and hope. No matter what you face, God's grace will be there. It will lift you when you stumble. It will carry you when you are weary. It will guide you through uncertainty. Trust in this grace and let it shape your life. Let it teach you patience, kindness, and forgiveness. First for yourself, and then for others. Grace is the foundation of resilience. When you rely on God's grace, you are not alone in your struggles. You are held by a love that never lets go. Remember the story of the prodigal son. When he returned home after wandering and making mistakes, his father ran to meet him with open arms. That is the heart of God, always ready to forgive, restore, and embrace. No matter how far you have wandered, no matter how heavy your burdens, God's grace is available to you right now. Trust in it. Let it heal your wounds. Let it renew your spirit each day. Choose to walk in this grace. Let it transform your heart and mind. And as you do, you will find a strength that cannot be shaken, a peace that passes all understanding, a joy that springs from knowing you are loved beyond measure. So now, breathe deeply and let God's grace flow through you. Feel it refresh your soul. Feel it strengthen your spirit. Know that today and every day you are held in the tender care of a loving God. This is the secret to living with courage and hope. This is the gift of trusting in God's daily grace. The Lord's Prayer, daily bread. The words of the Lord's Prayer echo through centuries, gently calling us into a deeper relationship with God. Among these sacred words lies a simple but profound request. Give us this day our daily bread. This plea is more than a request for food or material needs. It is an invitation to trust God for every moment, every breath, every provision that sustains us. When Jesus taught his disciples to pray, he pointed them toward a life grounded in dependence on God. It's a life free from anxious grasping, a life marked by faith and surrender. To ask for daily bread is to acknowledge our need, not only for food, but for God's sustaining presence, his wisdom, his peace, and his love. Each day brings new challenges, new opportunities, new moments that require strength and grace. By asking for daily bread, we place our trust in God's faithfulness. We admit that we cannot carry the burdens of tomorrow or rely solely on our own strength. This trust is liberating. It frees us from the constant worry about provision and invites us to live fully in the present moment. Consider the bread itself. Bread is the staple of life, simple and essential. It nourishes the body and gives energy for the journey. Just as bread sustains the physical body, God's grace and presence sustain our souls. When you pray for daily bread, you invite God to provide what you need for this day alone. You say yes to the present, to the gift of now, to the grace that is enough. It is a reminder that God's care is not limited by scarcity or fear. God's supply is abundant and overflowing, sufficient for each step you take. When we receive daily bread, we receive more than just physical sustenance. We receive a spiritual nourishment that feeds our hope, strengthens our faith, and renews our courage. Each day is a new chance to rely on God, to accept his gifts with gratitude, and to share his blessings with others. Imagine sitting at a table set with bread that never runs out. Each day you come to this table and take what you need, no more, no less, and find yourself renewed and ready. This is the promise and the power of God's daily provision. It teaches us humility, dependence, and trust when anxiety tries to creep in with worries about the future. Return to this prayer. Remind yourself, give me today what I need. I trust you for tomorrow. This simple act of faith quiets the restless mind and calms the heart. It centers you in the truth that God is the source of all life and blessing. There is also a beautiful rhythm in this daily asking. It shapes our lives into a pattern of seeking and receiving, praying and trusting, giving thanks and moving forward. This rhythm draws us closer to God and helps us recognize his presence in the small things. When you face uncertainty or hardship, the prayer for daily bread is a beacon of hope. It reassures you that God is attentive to your needs, big and small. It reminds you that you are not alone or forgotten. God sees you, God hears you, God cares, and God provides. This is why Jesus taught us to pray this prayer again and again. It is a steady anchor for the soul. It calls us back to the simplicity of faith. It invites us to live with open hands and open hearts, to trust not in our own efforts alone, but in God's loving provision. As you meditate on these words, let them sink deeply into your being. Feel the comfort of knowing that you are held by a God who delights in giving good gifts. Feel the peace that comes from resting in God's care. Allow your heart to be filled with gratitude for the countless ways God nourishes you, seen and unseen. Each breath you take is a gift. Each moment of peace is a blessing. Each new day is a chance to experience God's faithfulness anew. So as you continue this journey, let the prayer for daily bread remind you of God's steadfast love. Let it inspire you to live with trust, humility, and hope. Let it guide you to offer kindness and generosity to others. Because when we recognize how freely we receive, we are called to freely give. This is the way of Christ, a life of grace, mercy, and compassion. Now, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, release any lingering worry about provision or need. Trust that God will provide for today, tomorrow, and all the days to come. Feel the lightness that comes from surrendering your fears into God's hands. Know that your daily bread awaits you, sufficient, sustaining, and full of love. And in this truth, may you find peace for your soul and strength for your journey. The peace that passes understanding. Philippians 4. Peace is a treasure that many seek, but few truly find. Yet, in the words of the Apostle Paul, we discover a peace that surpasses all human understanding, a peace that guards our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. This peace is not dependent on circumstances or feelings. It is a deep, abiding calm that anchors the soul, even amidst life's storms. When Paul wrote to the church in Philippi, he knew hardship, imprisonment, and uncertainty. Yet he spoke of a peace that transcended all these troubles. This peace comes from trusting God fully and surrendering all anxiety and fear to Him. Do not be anxious about anything, Paul urged, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. These words invite us to a practice, a daily discipline of bringing our worries, fears, and burdens to God in prayer. When we do this with a heart full of gratitude, we open ourselves to receive God's peace. This peace is not simply the absence of conflict or stress. It is a powerful presence that fills us with calm, clarity, and strength. Imagine a quiet lake, undisturbed by wind or waves. The surface is smooth, reflecting the sky above with perfect stillness. This image can help us understand the kind of peace God offers, a peace that calms the turbulence inside and around us. The peace of God guards us like a strong fortress, protecting our hearts from despair and our minds from confusion. It steadies us when life feels overwhelming and helps us face each day with courage. How can we receive this peace? Paul gives us the answer: prayer, petition, and thanksgiving. Prayer connects us with God. Petition is our humble asking for help. And thanksgiving reminds us to focus on God's goodness and faithfulness. When we pray with this spirit, we shift our attention from worry to trust. We release control and invite God's presence into every situation. This doesn't mean we ignore problems or pretend difficulties don't exist. Instead, it means we bring everything into the light of God's love and care. You may be facing challenges right now, worries about health, finances, relationships, or the future. The peace Paul speaks of is available to you. It is not a distant promise, but a present reality. Take a moment to bring these concerns before God. Picture yourself handing over your anxieties like a heavy burden lifted from your shoulders. Feel the tension begin to ease as you release these worries in their place. Allow God's peace to fill the empty space. This peace reassures you that no matter what happens, God is with you, guiding and protecting you. It strengthens your heart and quiets your mind as you rest in this peace. You may notice a gentle confidence growing inside. This confidence does not come from your own strength, but from God's unfailing presence. It whispers to you in the stillness, "You are not alone. I am with you. Trust me." This peace also helps us live in harmony with others. When our hearts are guarded by God's peace, we respond to conflict with patience and kindness rather than fear or anger. We become instruments of peace in a troubled world. Philippians 4 also encourages us to focus our thoughts on things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy. This focus helps nurture the peace that God gives. What we choose to meditate on shapes the condition of our hearts. By turning our minds to positive, uplifting thoughts, we create space for God's peace to grow. You might find it helpful to create a mental list of these virtues. Repeat them softly in your mind and reflect on how they appear in your life. Let these thoughts bring calm and clarity. Remember that peace is not something we manufacture ourselves. It is a gift from God, received through faith and prayer. Each day, we have the opportunity to choose this peace by inviting God into our worries and trusting in His care. No matter what tomorrow holds, this peace remains. It is a steady foundation beneath our feet, a light guiding us through the darkest nights. So, now, take a slow, deep breath and feel God's peace settling over you like a gentle blanket. Allow it to guard your heart and mind, filling you with calm and hope. Know that this peace is yours, a treasure kept safe by the loving hands of Christ. And as you carry this peace with you, may you become a source of peace to others, shining brightly in a world that so deeply needs it. This peace is the fruit of trust and surrender. It is the promise that no matter the storms, God's love will hold you steady. Let this truth rest in your heart as you continue your journey, one day at a time.